I'm going to have a lot I want to say in this video. So buckle up, grab some popcorn, grab some munchies, you might need some alcohol, and settle in. Now, this is going to be different than my usual kind of videos. Normally, I take my time with the editing process and I make it kind of nice, but this one I'm not going to do that because I need to just I need to talk about this because this is important. Now, there's going to be spoilers, so if you don't click off this video, it's on you. It's on you. Seriously, it's on you. I'm giving you a warning. If you get spoiled by what I'm about to say, your fault, okay? I don't want any complaining or crying. Your fault. Final warning. Click off. I'm serious. Right. The Mandalorian saved Star Wars. I'm sorry. It saved it. Not Rogue One. Not Force Awakens. Not Last Jedi. Not Rise of Skywalker. Not Solo. Mandalorian. Rogue One, very good film. First and second act, Third act, spectacular. The Force Awakens, great return for Star Wars, but very safe, but a good foundation. The Last Jedi, I like it more than I dislike it, but it's very divisive. The Rise of Skywalker, damage control, fan service, but I love Ben Solo. And that's about the extent with my thoughts on those movies and the Vader hallway scene. To have those moments is great. But to me, Star Wars isn't just the moments. It's moments that are back to back, one after the other. This show does that and more. Within one episode, right? A half-hour episode, I already rooted for Mayfeld, right? Not Mayfield, Mayfeld. More, because I've seen a lot of people getting pissed off about that. I rooted for him more than I did for Finn. In 3 films. Explain how that works. And you can't say the excuse, oh, well, it's stretched out over storytelling of TV. No. Mayfeld's only been in 2 episodes. That's about an hour. Finn's been in, what, nearly 3 hours? 4 hours? More? And several books? But I don't count books. This show has saved Star Wars. This show has back-to-back moments. Everything from Baby Yoda taking the internet by storm and then revealing that his name's Grogu. Ahsoka in live action for the first time. Boba Fett's return. The seismic charge, and now with this, I didn't honestly think that this would happen. I thought it was going to be Ezra because I thought it was the predictable choice. It's Luke fucking Skywalker. It's the Luke Skywalker. Not Jake. It's Luke. Now, as far as the sequel trilogy Luke goes, it's canon, and there's nothing we can do about it. And unfortunately, that's where Luke's going to end up. However, this, right, you don't need to retcon the sequel trilogy. You don't need to retcon it. You work around it. The Mandalorian is part of the Heir to the Empire storyline. I genuinely feel like this is their version of the Heir to the Empire storyline playing out. I feel like we're setting up for something big. The end credit scene of Boba Fett, going to Jabba's palace and taking out Bib Fortuna, one shot, bang. He's already on par with Jango Fett. Better than he was in the originals. In the originals, he's cool, but he just kind of stood there saying, puts Captain Solo in the cargo hold. Other than that, and a cool theme. But he didn't really do a lot. The show gave him a lot to do. And seeing him and Mando walk into the bar together was just like the two, the sheriff and his deputy, the cowboys walking into the saloon, the 2 gunslingers. Reminded me of Anakin and Obi-Wan when they walk into the bar. Or Obi-Wan and Luke as they walk into Mos Eisley, the cantina. I teared up. Twice. The Luke reveal. And when Baby Yoda, or Grogu, went with Luke, and you can see the look on Din Djarin's face of sadness, and I've always said the second act of your 3-act play is always usually the darkest for your protagonists. And it was a very bittersweet second act. It ended on a sad note, but a happy note. So, I like that about it. And I'm sure that Din Djarin and Grogu will be reunited in Season 3. It's a given. Come on. You can't leave them two apart. I think what's going to happen is Grogu's going to train with Luke, but Grogu will also go back to Din Djarin at some point. But when I saw Luke, it was like I was a kid again. Anakin's my favorite. Anakin's my day one. Always will be. But Luke has always been a close second with Han Solo or Obi-Wan third or fourth. Luke has always been close second, very close second. And people often talk about how in the world of fandom, they don't understand why we get attached to these characters. Here's a little bit of story for you, and I don't care if this goes viral. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time indoors. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Nowadays, it's a little bit different, you know. I'm eye candy for the ladies. I think I'm tall, handsome, dark. What's not to like? I got charisma. But especially then, I had no friends. I had no one in my corner for anything. So I realized there's fictional worlds that I can get lost in. I learned more from people like Yoda than I did from people in the real world. Besides my close family, I love them. Besides them, a lot of people in the real world I thought just weren't shit. But Luke Skywalker, Yoda, Obi-Wan, as soon as the hello there, as soon as that, it was like I was watching Star Wars for the first time again. Now I know Star Wars is for kids. I get it. But Star Wars is also generational. It's like a time capsule. You watch it and you pass it down to the next generation and they carry on the story. But the story still lives within you. So for me, I'm a prequel kid. My parents, original trilogy kids. The kids of today, sequel kids. And it's not to say that we can't enjoy it or watch it. It's just to say that we're going to pass it down to them. And people say, oh, you can't recapture your childhood with the sequels. Now, I'm not trying to bash the sequels, okay? I like them more than I dislike them. But this show has... it's saved Star Wars. I don't care what Twitter posts you make. I don't care what sequel trilogy appreciation posts you make. You can appreciate the sequels. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying this is an cordial invitation to kick the sequels in the bollocks and to jump on the bandwagon, but it did. As a prequel fan, or as a Star Wars fan, since as long as I can remember, original trilogy and prequels, this show makes the sequels so much better. You can enjoy them a little bit more knowing that you've had Luke Skywalker. You've had Boba Fett's return. And now that Luke Skywalker is back, we can get Luke and Anakin together. I would cry if that happened. Luke on screen with Anakin as a Force ghost. We can now get that. All bets are off. I don't want to hear this. Oh, it's not possible. It's not going to happen. Everything's possible now. Everything's on the table. We didn't think we'd see a bounty hunter show. We got it. We didn't think we'd see Boba Fett again. We got it. We didn't think we'd see Luke Skywalker again. We got it. Hell, Grogu is from the prequels. Grogu is literally from the prequel era up to the original trilogy era. And he can go to the sequel era because his species ages differently. This show is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I cannot find a single person who has a negative word to say about this show. It has the odd boring episode here or there. It has the odd sort of episode where you go, wasn't as good as the other ones. But this show right here, this is the way. That's it. This is the way. Everything here with Moff Gideon, the Dark Troopers are absolutely unstoppable. One of them was pounding the crap out of him. One. All the characters are together. And I know we live in this time of where, we want representation and diversity and all that. There was how's this? There's 4 female soldiers on screen kicking ass, and I rooted for every single one of them because they're well written, I love them, and they're perfect. All of them. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then you get Luke right at the end to top it off, and you get Moff Gideon being a competent villain. A competent villain. Not like Hux screaming every 2 seconds, not like, and as much as I love Kylo Ren, it was part of his character, not like him, you know, moaning every 2 seconds. He's a competent villain, which is why the original trilogy worked, because you had, even in Count Dooku, you had villains that would sit there, they wouldn't scream or shout, they would speak with authority. Authority. That's the difference between a villain and a lackey. Another thing this show does amazingly. And the scene where he takes the helmet off and he says goodbye to Grogu, that I don't know what teared me up. That Maul or Luke. Either one or the other. But you guys leave your comments down below and let me know what you thought, because I need to hear what you guys have to say about this, because I swear I felt like a kid again. This show is absolutely amazing. And if this show is anything to go by, the Ahsoka show is gonna bang. The Kenobi show is gonna bang. And it's quite simple, because you have people who are passionate about it. I'm not saying that J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Colin Trevorrow, and Kathleen Kennedy are not passionate about it. Of course they are. They're in it. They run the bloody show. Of course. But where Disney shot themselves in the foot is they rushed it. They didn't take their time. They rushed it. And that was the problem. But as I've always said, the sequel trilogy is something you can learn from. And they know what to do and what not to do. Don't try and please everyone, because it's not going to work. Don't try and not please everyone, because you're going to piss a lot of people off. But tell the stories you want to tell the right way. And what this show does well is it somehow manages to please everyone. This show is brand new story. This is all new. Yet we've got Luke Skywalker in it. We've got Boba Fett's return. The Darksaber. Thrawn could potentially be coming over. Ezra could be making a debut. Sabine. All bets are off. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. There isn't one thing that isn't possible now. All your Star Wars theories, they can be true. They can be true now. Because this show's made it possible. Call it what you want. But I want to see Luke and Anakin together. Not Force voices, as cool as that is in the context of the movie. I want Anakin and Luke together, standing next to each other, talking. I want Anakin talking to Ahsoka. I want Clone Wars flashbacks. You've got Temuera Morrison now. You can have Captain Rex. You can have a flashback to Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, Hayden's Anakin, Rosario's Ahsoka, and Temuera's Rex. You could have all 4 of them, the Clone Wars squad, in live action. There's so much now. Guys and girls, comment down below and let me know what you thought of this episode and Mandalorian overall. I am so happy. This show is amazing. Favreau, Filoni, you have my hearts. And Kathleen Kennedy, I have this to say to you. You're doing right. You're doing right. You're doing right. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Because you're on the road to redemption. And people who are giving Kathleen Kennedy stick, stop it. She's doing good. She has to sign off on these things for them to happen. But again, this is people who don't understand how the film industry works just doing that. I know how the film industry works. She signs off on these. Luke in The Mandalorian, she has to sign off on that. She has to agree to it. Because she does oversee creative. She lets Filoni and Favreau basically run the show, but she does have a big say in what goes on. Anyway, I'm rambling. Comment down below, and I felt like a kid again, man. I mean, I'm only 23, but you know what I mean, like an actual kid. It was amazing. I love this show.